Okay, we could make cinnamon buns and strawberry milkshakes and have them together, and that'd be like a taste fiesta.
Frenzy fiesta. Dude, have you guys heard the song where it's gasa 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 gasolina?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it on?
Yours is how it goes.
you
Yours
know.
is not.
Gasolina.
This is like when I said. This is like when I was trying to reenact Darude Sandstorm and I hadn't heard it for a long time. It was like.
I've only heard.
Okay, I remember that. And I was rightfully made fun of for a long time.
How does it go?
You sound like you're singing Call of Chameleon.
Yeah,
You're like,
Is that what it is? Is it gala gala or is it gasa gasa gasolina?
I'm really dirty in the way. Gasolina. Gasolina.
You have a story about it?
Yeah, I went to Calgary last weekend, so not this weekend, the last
the expo?
Not next weekend either, but
No.
this weekend.
Not 2 weeks ago.
we were like out drinking, and then we came home, and like so downtown Calgary sucks. Because especially on weekends, everything is fucking closed, and all the bars close at like 12.
Yeah.
It was fucked. And then there was also
cool.
Dude, there was okay.
Yeah, but I mean, for nightlife, I guess they don't really have
nightlife,
like
yeah.
as much of a white out.
Well,
Like
for
people
Central
white
downtown.
out, they probably don't. They don't
They have something called, I
downtown.
think it's called 17th Street or something like that.
with
there.
like
It's in between
with, like,
16th and 18th.
Because they have like a good
The
avenue.
last weekend.
Yeah, there's like a nice avenue with like a lot of stores and stuff, but I don't think they have a ton of bars there. compared
No,
to, like,
yeah.
White Ave that like we have.
But our central downtown, they'll still stay open late.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Right?
that's because there's like a lot of bars down there
So
too.
the first I went to go get coffee at 9 a.m. and it was like everything was closed, like every coffee shop. Okay, but we went out drinking and everything was closed, and we had played a game earlier in the day where it's like at the convention we're gonna count how many Harley Quinns we see, and then that's how many ounces of liquor we're gonna drink tonight.
Oh no!
So we got up to 57. It was also our friend Jeremy's birthday. He's a really big guy. He's like awesome. He drank a lot of those. So we're like drinking, and then we get up to like 40 something. I remember we went to there was a state in Maine. We were the only people in there at like the end of the night. His last 30 minutes. We're like, yo, we need all these shots right now, and then we just had like there was like 22 shots on the table, and we just like it was back and forth. So we go back to our hotel, and all of a sudden we hear like. Gasolina. So or come gasolina. Yeah. So we hear this music from like the lobby, the bar lobby, and we're like, "What's going on?" We go to the hotel guy at the front. He's like, "Yeah, there's like a fundraiser for Peru going on in the lobby." And we're like, "What?" And he's like, "You guys don't have to pay though because you're hotel guests." And we're like, "Oh shit," because it was like $15. So we go in, everyone's Latin, there's me and Jeremy are like white. And then Sue's like, I think she's like Sri Lankan, she's brown. We go in there, and we're like the only white people. Immediately we walk in, and then all of a sudden everyone's sambaing, and like everyone, like it was awesome. But there was only like 20, I don't know, there was like 20 or 30 people. But it was a hotel lobby. But Gala Gasolina, that played. Yeah, so I was sambaing with some Latin American people. It was very, very interesting. As a white man, very, very interesting experience.
It was enriching.
It's very enriching.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard a lot of those playlists. And and then some guy was freestyle rapping in Spanish, which is so cool. Like, dude, he was just fucking going off, and there was 4 DJs for 30 people.
they like to keep that ratio of DJs to people about 9 to 1.
Yeah,
Every DJ is just like, let's play something that goes.
Dude, literally. And I was like, yo, I was waiting. They even played Rihanna, but no, yeah, it was dope. They kept shouting out the DJs. Yeah.
I feel like it'd be really easy to rap in Spanish because like everything ends in an O or an A.
Holy shit! I was like, this guy's amazing live. I'm like, I don't have to pay for this. He's a DJ. He's not even a rapper. But he can be both.
Did you see anything else cool for the expo?
Oh,
So I guess I'm surprised that Harley Quinn's still like as
I
popular.
don't know why,
as
but there's a lot of girls who are like, Harley Quinn's really
because it was
cool.
so popular before Suicide Squad came out, and then it came out, and then it was like bad.
But now it's
there
more
was, like,
popular because they have an actual thing to base their Harley Quinn on.
I guess so.
But they had the trailer for a year, and that's what people were
It
using.
was around a lot at Halloween.
I also feel like the Suicide Squad Harley Quinn is a little easier to do as well. It's like the original cartoon Harley was like the full body and like jester.
Yeah, there were some of those which were cool. Like there's some of them
like those ones are always really cool. But with the new Harley ones, like you do the pigtails, you do sort of just like the white face makeup, and then you're kind of pretty much okay. So it's a little easier to do. I mean, it's still a terrible role model, and you shouldn't endeavor to be Harley Quinn. It's like you get the people who are like, "Oh, I want to have a romance like Harley Quinn and the Joker." It's like, no, you do not.
They are getting better about that now because they are like broken up in the comics, and like
That's
I
true,
think
yeah.
she's dating what's it called, Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
So she's like a
Good for her.
She's
doing well.
I mean, Poison Ivy's still evil, but less evil.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's better because obviously before their relationship was like based on like him fucking breaking her brain.
Joker! He's joking around.
He's a joke.
He's the funny guy, bitch.
That's why he's called the pranker.
Yeah.
He should be called the pranker.
Because that's not pranked, Harley. She's like, damn.
Yeah.
Melting in acid.
But you can see why it's like a glorification of like abusive relationships
Yeah.
and shit, which is why it's good that she's depicted differently now.
Thanks.
I just got
Good point. That's a good point.
Because everybody who watches Suicide Squad's intelligent enough to understand
They
that.
should be.
The extended version. The extended
Oh god!
Yeah, well.
Oh my god! I think I watched the extended version. I like half watched it because like my roommates were watching it, and
Yeah.
just like
No.
they shoved in so much random popular music, even though it was so.
Oh,
There-
that's
there's
how
like
you
so
do
much
it,
in there
though.
already.
It
There's
was-
like 4 montages within the
Yeah.
first 45 minutes introducing
They-
the character.
They test screened that, and people were like, "I like hearing music I'm familiar with," and they were like, "Well, that's the only we got going for this movie.
What happened,
We're
what
gonna
happened
put that in."
was that they released the trailer. I've
Yeah.
talked about it before, but they released the trailer that had like,
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody or whatever, and then they had their own cut of the movie, which was like gritty and dark, like all the other DC movies. And then people hated that one, or at least didn't love it, and then were raving about the trailer. So they were like, "Hey, ad company that made the trailer for us, make the movie for us."
Yeah.
And then they were the ones who edited.
Throw
it
some
like
Queen in
that.
there. Throw some fucking Kanye.
Well, yeah, and then they like commissioned whoever like what was it? Imagine Dragons did a song with Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
And, like,
Oh, what's that? There's a group. There's a group. I know you're
and
talking
the
about.
garbage 21 Pilots.
21 Pilots
song. Oh
song.
my
They're
god.
like, what?
Heathen?
Yeah, Heathens. It was-
That was
yeah,
for
it was
that?
Heathens,
Oh, I
yeah.
hate that song.
Oh.
That song about they're so edgy. It bothers me.
I actually didn't mind that the Imagine Dragons and Lil Wayne song because it's like, wow, you never expect that. And then in Lil Wayne's verse, he had one of the best lines ever. It was no, it was about like eating fish on toast or something. I can't remember.
I eat sardines on toast.
I can't remember. But it's just like, if you just listen to it on the surface, it sounds so stupid. And then you realize there's a bunch of wordplay in it, and yet it's still so stupid. Like, it's just the perfect Lil Wayne line of just like, oh yeah, nice wordplay, and you're still a goof. But like, yeah.
I think Lil Wayne, does he embrace the goof?
I think so. I think he's aware because like...
I do remember that video like where he played guitar on stage, and he was literally just like the most terrible guitar player, but he was like, yeah. Like, everyone was like,
It's like, at
okay,
least he's
yeah.
trying it. Like, you know, whatever. Right?
Rock on, Lil Wayne.
Yeah. I like that Dave Chappelle bit too about Lil Wayne songs. He was always talking about pussy juice.
Oh, yeah, pussy
Pussy juicy.
And
Just how nobody else can pull that off.
I like both the Chappelle stand-ups. They're good.
Yeah, they're good.
The Louis C.K. one was good too.
That was better, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So what was your story about the dead body?
Not dead, as I found out.
Oh well, you spoiled it.
Spoiler. Okay, so this just happened last night. We were driving in a residential area, Hillview, which is you know
That's where you view the hills.
Hills View. Yeah, you can imagine.
They have eyes.
Yeah, they have
You
eyes.
shouldn't have gotten out of the car.
yeah, literally.
The hills view you.
I'm not here for the hills. I'm here for the view. I'm here for the view. No, so we're driving, and it's like there's like condominiums, and then there's like this grass, grass.
Oh yeah, I'm aware. Yeah.
Kind of familiar.
Well,
think so.
if you don't know what grass is, there was grass. It's like green.
I
So
thought of avoid going outside as much as possible. So.
yeah, that's all right. That's totally fine. But so we're driving by, and we're just like driving by, and there's a
Driving, yeah.
there's a
There's no
person
one driving
like
by.
there's
It's
driving
driving
by.
by when you drive.
It's like you stop, going, and there's a person. There's like a body on the ground, and it's like 1:30 a.m. and it's like in a fetal position, like head on the ground, like just smothered on the ground, and like you guys ever see the show 48 Hours? Where it's like they have 48 hours to solve a crime.
Isn't
And
that
then-
24?
No, it's a movie with Eddie Murphy.
Wait, what?
It's a movie with Eddie Murphy.
Oh no!
That's okay. You're 48
No,
hours.
it's 24.
It's 24 hours. It's a movie with with like Nick Nolte.
Well, like
So there were a bunch of
48
movies
hours.
with 48
Yeah, the first 48.
The first 48 is that
The
what
first
I'm talking
48.
about?
That's
Okay,
what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, were there like people who missed it?
the first 48 is like there's a murder. They have 48 hours to like find a suspect.
Yeah,
or,
if
like,
you
The
don't-
most important first 48
Yeah,
hours.
exactly. If you don't find like the have any leads within 48 hours, it's kind of fucked.
You're kind of fucked. Yeah. So they. So it looks like a scene of that without like the blurred out face on the body, like you just drive by, and without the police there yet. So I'm like freaking out. So we drive by, and I'm like, dude,
That was the point of all of
yeah,
that.
yeah.
You also did, like,
No,
there's
no,
soundtrack,
I'm
there's
just,
no narrative.
I'm setting the screen.
Also,
I
that
already
little
set
thing
the
in the
hills.
corner,
There's
it's
hill
the
views,
rating,
there's
no
grass,
commercials.
it's not there.
That
There's
was
a
very
blurred out body on the ground.
Hey, lay off. He's being descriptive.
Yeah, very,
guys.
very descriptive. I'm just, just in case we have any.
You're mad at this story.
Maddie.
Okay, so we turn back around, and I'm like, okay, just turn back around, and I'm gonna yell at him from the window. So we roll on the window. I'm like, hey, buddy, and there's like no response. I'm like, yo, I'm like yelling at him, like just to see if he gets up. And he's like, Sorry, so he's not getting up. So I'm like, well. So we were all doing and I'm like, should we call like the ambulance or something? I don't know, just in case, because I can't see. It's like pitch black. You might be bleeding or something. I don't know. So we go park, call the I almost said call the gasolina. We call the police,
Policia.
and they're actually like, dude, you guys have called the police?
Yeah.
The respondents are so like good. Like they know their job and they're so like coordinated. And like hops over to like 3 different dispatchers. They're like, don't say anything before I do. And then they're like, da 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 da, and then they go back and forth. So I'm talking to the EMT guy, and he's like, yeah, it sounds like there's no that kind of thing. He's like, yeah, can you go back by and like see if you can get him up again? And I was like, yeah. So I rolled by, I'm like, hey, yo, yelling, and he's like, yo, do you know if he's conscious? And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, if you feel safe enough, could you please go out and make sure that he's like all right? And I was like, I don't really want to go out there and get fucking stabbed if this guy just got like stabbed. I don't know what's going on here.
The stabber's lurking.
It could all be a setup.
It's a bait.
It's a bait.
He was hiding like under the body.
There's a pile.
He was gonna mistake the pile.
There's 2 bodies. I better call the police. So I'm like, you guys close? And they're like, yeah. I was like, okay, I'll go out. So I go out. I'm like walking out. I'm like, hey man. I'm shouting. He's not getting up. So I'm like, I'm right in front of him, and he's like, there's no blood or anything. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? So I'm kicking his like ankle.
Garbage bag.
It's a man in a garbage bag. No, so I'm kicking him, and then he finally goes like, and I was like, yeah, wait, this guy's conscious, like it's okay. And they're like, can you put your phone by him? And I'm like, no. I'm like they want me to throw my phone on speakerphone by him so they can talk to him. And I was like, no, I can just let you. He's just like drunk, like he's passed out. And they're like, we're still on our way. And I was like, okay. So I kick him, and he gets up, and he's got like a water bottle underneath him. And he's like, hey, black guy, he's like 20-ish, that kind of thing. And I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry, I had to call.
He's either exactly 20 or 20-ish.
20 or 20-ish, you know.
I was just thinking you were going to say it was Othello.
Yeah, under the stars,
Performance art,
stars.
stars.
There's a street before. It was like, yeah, no. So I call him, and then yeah, he was pretty much just like, yo, and I was like, hey man, I'm sorry, I had to call like the police. I thought you were like stabbed or something. And he's
Did
like,
he get pissed off at
no,
you?
he was like, he's like, it's all good, man. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like standing there waiting for the ambulance to pull up, and they come up, and they're like just joking around. And he's sitting up, and they're like, so what'd you drink tonight? And he's like, Applebee's. It's like, Applebee's?
Do we have?
I
don't have
no,
drink, man.
no, but then I told my friends this, and they're like, he might have been talking about Appleton Estate, which is like Jamaican rum,
Really good.
right?
Because we don't have Applebee's.
I know, but he was like,
here.
Applebee's.
We used to. I don't know if we do anymore. There used to be one on Calgary
There
Trail.
used to be
It's
one
gone.
by the
Red
Movies
Robins.
12. It's now an O2s, but there used to be one there.
Okay.
My movie's 12. I
I've
don't
definitely
think
never
there
seen
was
Well,
one.
there's.
It's-
I mean, there's
it's in
no
that parking
2s
lot.
there now. It's no 2s.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, I know. So I'm just saying,
But
like,
no, but
it could just be no 2s.
No,
and
there's
you
no
could be
2s
right.
there. There's no 2s there.
Yeah, it's an O2 now.
It is an O2s.
Okay.
It was in O2's last night, so he wasn't at Applebee's.
I think that he was just getting trashed in an Applebee's.
Yeah, I would like to think so. That'd be a good story.
I would like to join him.
And then he said his name. Okay, I don't know. This is a very descriptive name. His name was. I just was cackling because he was like, "My name's Gunther." It's like the weirdest name. I think it's such a cool name. My name's
Maybe,
It's so
maybe it's like
German.
Caribbean, like because like Caribbean people have like weird, like super like British proper sounding names.
Yeah, but
like,
that's German. Gunther?
okay,
Yeah.
but it's European.
Oh, well.
No,
It's true. It's true.
Classic.
O2's. That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
Thank you.
that's cool. Gunther. Yeah,
Gunther at Applebee's. So, call the police if you see people
Going to
stabbing
Applebee's.
Yeah, go to Applebee's. There's a family going in there right
What did you have to drink? Applebee's.
now.
Tell cops that.
So I was dealing with this really upset guy the other day at work because
Yeah, speaking of
I
drunk.
don't even know if I should include this. Depending, we'll see how the week pans out. But one of my coworkers, was hopefully getting fired as a result of my actions.
Yeah?
What do you
Can
do?
we
Do
talk?
sabotage?
Yeah, I'll just
Yeah,
let it out.
dude, you're such a
Yeah.
snitch.
Dude, I'm not that snaky. The boss was gone for 2 weeks, and I was basically like,
And then you snitched on him.
no, no, it was more so that while he's gone, I was in charge of a lot of shit, and so, but I'm not gonna like give someone shit if they're misbehaving, especially this guy. This is like, well, it's not my job. So he fucked up a couple times throughout the week. He let some guy get away with like 6 bottles of stuff because he was like, and then
in fairness, it's very hard to watch people in the store when you're busy looking like that. So.
yeah, and
It's clearly preoccupied.
Only 6 bottles. That's a good number for him.
That guy's doing that and I'm a thief? Oh my god, I'm taking more than 6 bottles.
well, you gotta carry
Taking
some.
a whole crate of Applebee's. Take the whole Applebee's with me.
And so that was one fuck up, and then the next was he did like a return on like a huge order and fucked it up completely, and he basically gained money by purchasing stuff through us and returning it because he gave it back to them at like a lower cost.
Yeah.
The whole thing was fucked up. We lost like $300.
So like he embezzled, or
He's just stupid.
He allowed the customer, he embezzed for the customer's
oh, okay.
money.
No,
on his
yeah.
behalf.
When you said
They,
he got
for
when you said he got
$45
money.
out of their pocket net, they got like $400 worth of stuff to keep and take home, and 800 air miles, which is worth like another $80.
No, when you said he got money back, I thought you meant the guy who was like
Not the
returning the money
employee.
somehow got money
Yeah.
back. But, okay.
And so he did that fuck up, and the thing is, that's the kind of thing that would have flown under the radar potentially because people don't pay attention to a lot of stuff. But I was like, wow, look at these receipts. I'm just going to copy down all the numbers, do the math. Boom, boom, boom. Wow, he fucked us real good. This is good. So I got all the
Do you have
math
a box?
done.
Do you have a box of like you're gathering evidence?
Oh, well, I actually left it as like sort of a pamphlet with like note on top about, well, this happened and this happened. And then on the very last day before I left for the weekend, like this was Friday, this guy came in really angry because he's like, oh, you told me there'd be 48 bottles of wine here for me. There's none. And I was like, well, we can't even do that for people. Normally the most we'd ever give someone in these circumstances is 6. But basically, my coworker had been like,
stole them all.
like, coworker was like, well, what we'll do is rather than just giving you 6 with your name on the piece of paper, we'll make you 8 pieces of paper for 6. Can I get the name of everyone in your family? And it's like, this is like way against the rules.
Yeah.
And now this guy's pissed, and I'm telling him like, yeah, well, we don't have it. Sorry, we'll see about next week. But and the related part of that story was that guy's name was Myron, and his Myron, first name, last name Myroon, last name. Really weird first and last name. Also, he broke his clavicle on Friday doing BMX at like 3 a.m. So I'm really.
This guy's so cool.
He's 27.
He is not so much cooler than you.
I'm just jealous.
I hope he,
Stitch at work while Myron.
you're gonna end up getting fired.
Yeah, he's going out BMXing with Myron in my room. They're drinking 48 bottles of wine, and you're a loser just reporting
You're
to the
just the one who's
boss.
like, we can't give you that much liquor.
Mr. Spencer's sitting around telling his friends.
Bring your whole family.
You are.
Stop it, Myron.
He's like, you can't stop.
You might ruin everything.
What was it? Who was it again?
Yeah, his name.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to have my fingers crossed because if he isn't fired, then it's like it's retarded. He's already on 2 out of 3 strikes for how you get fired. So 1 more and he's fired. These all 3 are strike worthy. So he should be at 5 strikes.
This is like,
So he's almost rehired again.
Yeah, that's what.
Oh, damn.
this is kind of like girls playing baseball in high school. They just keep throwing strikes over and over. That happened. You guys remember that?
No.
What are you talking about?
You guys never played baseball at gym
We like
class?
never played baseball in high school at all, or in any school at all. Well, I wasn't in gym in grade 11 and 12. So if that was when you did all your baseball, I didn't have gym those years.
Yeah.
So.
Well, no, it would always happen because like there'd be girls who aren't very athletic and don't want to go and bat and they don't want to hit the ball. And so then they go up there and they just don't swing for a bit, and then they just throw them a strike, and another strike, and then they swing and miss, and they're like, "That's okay, we're gonna just try one more time," and they throw them another strike, and it just keeps going on until it's like really uncomfortable. It's like strike 8, and they're like, "Okay, you're out now." It's terrible.
No, I never had that problem with my gym class. Like,
no. Yeah, Rory was just hitting home.
Yeah, well, I didn't have strike 8, but there'd be something.
No, I mean, as far as like just like letting girls have 8 strikes, it's like no, it's 3 strikes and you're out. Like, that was just the thing.
No heart.
Yeah, it sucked that like they would normally, obviously, if you foul it on the 3rd strike, it's keep going. But like a lot of the time, they would just a foul would also count as a strike. Not that it happened often, because like nobody's good enough to foul. Like
baseball's just fucking
too hard for
class.
I feel like most people would just either whiff or hit
either
it.
hit it or not hit it. At least at this skill level, like the discrepancy between players is so.
Nobody's good.
I'm gonna be
glad
playing on a
baseball's
slow
not
pitch
like-
team now, like starting on Tuesday.
slow pitch is bad and you should feel bad.
Why?
Yeah.
Because it's bad.
Give it
All
to
baseball
Sports
things
are
are
good.
generally
You
the
can actually
worst.
play on one.
Yeah.
The people always can play it drop off the team.
Yeah.
Is that the one with the giant ball?
Yeah, softball.
Yeah,
is,
no.
and so this is
Slow
pitch
pitch
and
is
softball.
baseball for people who don't want to play baseball, but they want
No,
to
who
hit.
wants to play baseball?
It's baseball for people who want to have the illusion of hitting a home run because the ball is the size of a melon and you can't not hit
I know,
it.
but to actually play baseball, like a pitcher, like to pitch. It's
Yeah,
like,
I want to play baseball, but I don't want to put 30 hours of my week into training for it. So I'm going to play slow pitch, and it's because my friends can't all hit the ball that is thrown 100 miles an hour, so we're just going to hit a slow
But they
ball.
need to get good.
No one's allowed to play any sports.
Rory literally hits homers.
Major League
Rory just
Fastball.
fucking hits homers. There's nothing else. He gets
Isn't slow pitch the one with like the cool ass like windmill?
No, that's
pitches and-
softball.
Right.
That'd be softball, but like women's softball at high levels, they're allowed to pitch as fast as they want, but it
Yeah.
has to be underhand still. So that's when they do the whipping, like hard windmill, cool throw thing. Did you see that video of that girl who was playing dodgeball, who was clearly a slow or a soft
Oh yeah, which
ball pitcher?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. She just destroys everybody.
It's kind of crazy how hard you can throw
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
ball.
No, actually, my grand was a slow pitch pitcher, and so yeah, she did the whole like
Yeah, and she could
super
just whip
fast on
it.
her arm.
Yeah.
And if you ever acted up, you just fucking watch
That's why Rory hates it.
That's why slow pitches for scrubs, because my grandma taught me better than that.
Yeah, like I don't think there's any rec fastball leagues. Like,
There isn't, no. Because I actively looked for them, and there was never any.
I'll agree that slow pitch is worse than like every other rec sport. Like I'd rather play volleyball. I'd rather play not
Dodgeball?
basketball. Dodgeball.
Is that a rec sport?
Dodgeball people
Simple
always
enough,
get mad
but-
at each other for some reason.
Why?
Yeah.
You're playing with the wrong people.
I've never
You should have played on our team
I
when we
just
were in
lose
high
a lot.
school.
Did you have a team in high school? I
We
think I
had a
too.
team. Don't you remember we had a
I
team?
feel like I was
Oh,
on
you
the
weren't
team.
on my
I was
team.
friends
That
with
was
Connor.
like before we
We had
were
a
really
team.
friends.
Us too.
Fuck
Connor.
And Connor, yeah.
I think Kyle might have been on it, maybe.
NDR.
Oh yeah, cool Kyle.
Yeah, and I remember
What's up,
I had to
Kyle?
because I guess I was the captain at least one year because nobody else wanted to be because that meant you had to ref other games.
Oh,
So I had to ref other games, and then I realized how being a ref is a terrible, thankless job. Nobody ever notices when you do a call correctly, but they always notice when you do a call that they might disagree with.
Well, the reffing dodgeball would be really easy, I would think.
Yeah, but then
So
you got-
you would
No,
definitely
because you
hit.
can't have like if we were playing, we would have honesty coup where if you're hit, you have to go out.
Literally,
Yeah.
honesty cure.
Oh,
Like,
Honestly,
this dad was
the other
bad.
people. The other people.
They don't have
buy
honesty.
that.
That's
Yeah,
what
I
was
think
so
you have to
frustrating,
explain
like,
the
in gym
phrase
class.
honesty.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, how do you explain honesty coup on a live stream or a podcast?
Okay, basically.
Should we try?
Yeah, okay, there's a game coup. If you know what coup is, this will be easy. If you don't know what coup is, it's basically
Good luck.
you have specific roles which are invisible, nobody else knows what they are, and they each perform a specific function within the game, but you can pretend that you have any of the cards in front of you.
So you're given cards face down, they give you certain roles. Now you can pretend you have different ones and you can lie to people and that's okay. But you still have those cards, so at some point you're going to have to prove that those are truly your cards.
So when you call somebody for a bluff, you're gonna have to be honesty coup.
Well, but that's the thing, is now we wanted to play that one time, but we didn't have the cards.
yeah,
It was at your house.
And we happened to be
Just three of
so
us?
drunk.
we were
We had to be so drunk that we were just like, we don't need the cards. We'll just be honest about what we are.
And the game of
So
pure
it's
lying.
funny. So it's funny because like the game does involve lying.
It
You
does.
have to
Extensive
lie.
lying. 100% lying. Like,
But in this variant of the game, you have to lie about what cards you have.
Yeah.
But you have to be honest in the situations where it's actually
you
required.
have
So
to
at
know
the start, you have to be
about what
honest.
cards
This
you
is
have.
honestly what I have in your mind. You
In
don't
your
say
mind,
it, but
you're
it is. But then for the rest of the game, you can lie as much as you want
want.
until someone calls you, and then you have to be honest.
in terms of what cards you actually
there's
have.
definitely no deeper trust on this earth, I think, than what
And it
honesty
actually worked.
is.
I was having the best time. I was like, these guys are being honest.
I don't think anyone's ever cheated on honesty.
No.
No, you can't.
No,
It
that's
would
the thing,
disturb
is
the
that
sanctity
you
of the whole
would,
thing.
and if you did, you would win every time,
But I don't
and
even.
no
it's
one
not
would
even
ever
about
catch
winning.
you.
It's just like.
But you'd be awful.
You'd
and
be
would
an
hate
horrible
you forever.
person. Yeah.
It would
So-
be fun.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be fun.
No.
So yeah, you have honesty coup is
Honesty
so
coup is so
honest,
sick.
and it means that if you apply honesty coup to any other situation, it's better than like a pinky
you
swear.
can't violate the honesty
No,
coup.
no.
So if you say, okay, we're honesty cooing right now,
You can
have
easily
to
just
find
play
out.
Honesty Coup right now.
Honesty
We
coup.
could play it on stream.
Everyone's just gonna look like, what is
Like,
happening?
we have out of our fingers coins.
Oh yeah, coins.
Oh yeah, we
Oh yeah, we had coins in our fingers. We're holding our
You have old cards.
I forgot
Yeah,
about
we're not
that.
using our hands.
Oh,
So
We have to remember, so...
Oh, that was hilarious.
I think my favorite version of coup, I do like honesty coup a lot, but I really like blind coup.
Blind coup is
Blind coup is
you,
fun.
you do get the cards assigned to you, but you don't get to see what they are.
So
We have another name for that. It's called, was it Aiden Q?
Oh,
yeah,
AG.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a blind
Yeah, we know,
coup.
but
blind
anyway,
coup.
it's kind of like Indian poker or whatever. That, I feel like that name's offensive, but I don't know why.
Indian
Well, I
poker?
think
Why
it's
is it called
because it's supposed
Indian
to be
poker?
like the headdress, right?
I guess
Oh, is that what
it
it
makes
is?
sense. You like the feathery
I
headdress.
thought it was kind of like Chinese baseball, where it's just a term, or Chinese checkers that they just threw like.
Well, Chinese
it's different
checkers
than
is
us.
an actual thing.
Yeah, but Chinese checkers isn't Chinese.
Is it not?
I don't think so.
I assumed that.
Probably just from like somewhere in Asia, and then they were like, "Oh, it's
I don't think it is at all. I think it's they had checkers, and now they have a new game.
China's
like,
lost so much. How dare you try to take Chinese checkers away from China?
Don't take it away.
I think people were just like, well, this is like kind of like checkers, but different. It's Chinese.
It's exotic.
No,
Yes,
it's
just
one
like
might
soccer
even
baseball.
say
We call kickball
Oriental.
Chinese baseball.
Back in the day, that would be a great marketing thing. You're trying to sell a new game, you're like,
Yeah.
it's Chinese.
Exactly.
Everyone's like,
I
whoa,
think
game
that's
from
what they
China.
did.
I'm
They're
never-
wise in China.
Yeah.
They,
They
uh,
more that you're making fun of them actually, because like Chinese fire drills or whatever is
Yeah.
like making fun because the
Is that-
like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where
'cause
does that term
What
come
is a
from?
Chinese
Well,
fire
the
drill? Is
point
that
is
when you
that-
get out of your car and run around
But,
at the red
it's
light?
often
Okay.
used as a practical joke on somebody else, in that you institute it, and then only one person gets out and goes and does it, and then you like.
Oh, really?
Everybody else stays in the car.
Oh, I didn't know that. Everybody always.
I thought it was the opposite.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
except
we
one
always
person
do it.
would do it. The other
Yeah.
person would be like, oh.
What? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you drive away.
But why is it Chinese and why is it a fire drill?
I don't know either. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
But it's just like to.
Yeah, so not only does the
because
Chinese
of
part
running
make
around,
sense,
like
but
the
the fire
stuff's on
drills
fire
part
doesn't
doesn't
make
make
sense.
sense.
Making fun of
Yeah,
them.
I don't think it's making fun of Chinese. I think it's the exact same thing of just like China is different than us. So
Yeah,
Chinese
so
is Chinese.
according to Wikipedia, the game was invented in Germany in 1892 under the name.
So was China.
So
was
Chinese
China.
checkers or fire
Oh,
drills?
right.
It
Yeah.
was absolutely
Checkers.
racist at the time.
Chinese checkers.
But it was a
Chinese
Chinese
checkers,
person
yeah.
in Germany.
Was it because it could easily be called like
Okay, so
It sounded like you were like drumming. It was
so yeah, so the game was invented in Germany, but the name Chinese checkers
guys already finished the
originated
game?
in
You guys watched the
the
game?
United States.
tickets.
You went to the game?
Oh, and it was
Well,
You went to that game?
Fake tickets, but
Fake tickets. You went to Fort Hall?
yeah.
Dude, I was on their Instagram. They put me on.
Yeah,
there.
you showed me this morning. I saw it before, but you
We
just-
were at Fort Hall, and then we were like, we're just gonna buy some tickets.
Oh, for like the actual game?
Yeah,
Oh.
There was tickets available?
yeah, it's crazy.
What? Really?
Like actual seats
That
or
does sound
standing
hard to
or
believe considering it's such a
Yeah, we were
important
like,
big game.
what was it, the 100 or whatever? So
What?
Oh my
That's
god.
nuts.
I'm so jealous.
How much was
right
that?
now.
it was like 250 a person or something.
That's
That's
pretty-
so
that's
good.
really good.
That's
That's
so
insanely
good.
good.
How?
How did you get that for Game 6?
They're all on Kijiji. They all go to the cheap
Oh,
power
that's
store.
amazing.
Oh yeah, I guess like if people like really like at the last second are like, crap, I'm having a baby, and then you get
I was still going to the
King
game,
of
to be
the-
honest. though. Dude, you guys went on 7 goals. That's like,
Yeah, 7 goals. Basically, yeah.
You guys, yeah, it must have been very exciting being there and participating in the whole.
Love to participate.
participating on the whole.
That'd be so great to see like other like look at TV the whole audience instead of like clapping, it's like just not even going yeah, but like making.
The whole stadium.
I would be fucking intimidated. That'd be like.
Yeah, on a home game, it's going to intimidate the hell out of the other team.
That should totally be a tradition somewhere. Like some.
All we need is
team
get
needs
started
to
and
choose
convince
that.
enough people, try and convince people in their own areas of the audience, and then pay people around them to do it.
Yeah.
And it'll catch on forever.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Sweet. That's a good idea.
That's another thing. Where did the term scalper come from? Like someone who sells tickets outside an event.
Oh,
Scalper.
Yeah, but how does that relate?
Because
$20.
the price jacking is so high, it's like you're being scalped.
Is that what
Yeah.
it is?
Yeah, gotta be, right?
Maybe.
Being scalped
I
sucks.
thought
and
it
so
was
does
that, like you're buying the tickets and then like selling them for like top dollar, which is how Scalps.
Whoa!
The most expensive
Whoa!
part of
Stop the most expensive
Dude, I will sell anything before I sell this part.
That's why it's the most expensive.
I know.
That's why when people get kidnapped, when people get kidnapped by random foreign people and get their organs sold on the black market, they don't wake up with kidneys missing. They wake up with balls.
Top dollar. I'm not talking about like the 1970s and stuff. I'm talking like olden times where
Yeah, like the
wigs-
1960s.
They didn't have fucking wigs back then, dude.
They had wigs back then.
Someone's hair.
They had like
Wigs
a
were
powder.
just
Yeah, they're powdered wigs. They
Powdered wigs.
loved wigs.
That was the
They
biggest
wore
shit. There's nothing older than powdered wigs.
Powdered wig is the first thing that's ever been invented.
Man-made.
It's like wheel fire.
Powdered wig. No. Powdered wig. Wheel
Powdered
fire
wig
first. Get that
That's why
powder.
dinosaurs died out, because they couldn't invent the powdered wig.
Powdered wig. It was a battle. Then what are they called?
Neanderthals.
Neanderthals. There we go.
They call scalpers touters in other places. Like
Oh.
in.
Oh, I
Because
think
you're
it's
counting their tickets.
Is that what it is?
That's
Well,
stupid.
'cause
though,
what else-
because,
I don't trust you.
I don't know how to tell you. You're the guy who says top dollar.
Top dollar.
Top dollar for this scalp.
Look that
what
shit
it
up.
is.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I'm sure if he Googles why is a scalper called a scalper, it doesn't say scalps are top dollar.
It might though.
It does.
You know, there's gonna be a book. There's a book that says it somewhere.
Yeah.
I didn't tell this, but you said you had problems at work. I also, this is the second police involved incident of my week. That was the second one last night. We had to kick out like a cracked out guy in our cafe earlier in the week. Yeah, it was really weird because I was on drive-through and a guy came through, was like hipster guy, and was like, I don't know, 60s car, I don't know. So yeah, I'm sitting there getting his drink, and then he looks at me, and he's like looking at me really weird, and I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on? And he's looking at me, and I look, and there's a guy standing beside his car who's just like going like moving around.
You can't see me.
But he's like going up and down and like looking around the car.
And
I
is he
guess,
like, does he think he's hiding and he's gonna like steal
No,
the coffee? Like he's just like sitting there
No.
like, yeah, man, I'm fucking
I'm gonna
invisible.
take this shit.
He's gonna get him stabbed.
He's like lying down. No, yeah. So he was like admiring the car or something, and the guy who was driving beside nothing of it was looking at me like, "Yo, give me the drink so I can get the fuck away from this dude." I was like, "All right." So I'm like, "Here you dude. Have a good day." Here you dude. Here you dude. And then he handed me a scalp to pay for it. No, so he.
Wow, yeah, it's a really good deal.
Yeah, it's pretty half off. No,
Have up.
just the back.
Have up the head.
So I go in the cafe and I tell one of my like coworkers, I'm like, "Yo, this weird dude was in the drive-thru." I look, he's now in the cafe, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" And now he's like a 25.
Is it the kind of thing like where every time you turn around he's like there? Every time you look in a mirror he's like there?
Yeah. No, I was cracked out actually, not him. No, so he comes to the cafe and I'm like, "Oh shoot!" And he's like goes in and he's like rambling onto this girl, and he's like 25 years old. He's like well dressed, like he just looks totally fine. He just like something's going on, like he's either schizophrenic or like on some heavy drugs.
Yeah.
And he starts like babbling on. He's like going like this, and I'm like, "Hey man, can I help you with something?" Because he's just like harassing this girl. I'm like, so he comes up to me and he's like, "Yo man, what's going on?" He's like 25-year-old brown guy. He has
25, 20,
Yes,
25-ish.
He's got like marks on his face, like that kind of thing. And then he comes up to me, and the first thing he's like slapping his face, and he's like, "I am so hot. I'm so hot right now." And I was like, "Oh, I can get you some water or like any drink that you want. Like I'll give it to you." And he's like, "Yo, just something sweet, sour, coffee, any coffee." And he's like, he's going crazy. And this whole time he's like, he's rubbing his armpits and like smelling his hands. And I'm like, "What the fuck?" And so he's like doing this, and he's like very much sweating, and he's getting like more kind of antsy. And I'm like, "Dude, I'll just get you water." He's like, "Yes, please." I'm like, "Do you want ice?" He's like, "Yes, tons of ice." And I was like, "Okay." So I give him the ice, give him the water, and then he's like, "I'm part of Metro Program. You know Metro Program?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, good, like, you know Metro Program? And he's like scratching his face, so it's getting a bit
Wait,
weird.
like
I don't know what the. I was just saying because I was like
adult education. Yeah.
Was it? Okay.
Well, that's like the biggest metro I can think of, other than like maybe part of the Metro Film Society for the Metro Theater.
Yeah, so I was just being like a yes man. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep this guy distracted, just to and then give him the water, and then hopefully he leaves. And he's like, "Can I use your washroom?" I was like, "Yeah, you can use the washroom, like whatever." And he goes to the washroom, whatever. And people in the cafe are now all very interested. And like, I don't know if you ever work places, something happens, everyone who's a customer is all of a sudden engaged. And they're
quiet.
They're like, ooh.
Just paying attention.
No, they were like just coming to talk to us and being like, what's going on with that guy? And he's like, he was saying some weird stuff to me. And I'm like, wow, they're all like 40-year-old bombs at our cafe. So I'm like, whatever. So he's in the bathroom, and like 15 or so minutes go by, and I realize he's still in the bathroom. And I'm like, I'm going to go check on him. So I walk around the corner, and then I just hear him like shouting in the bathroom, and I'm like, oh fuck, like something's going on. The sink is on. I can hear the sink on. And
is it a one-person bathroom?
One-person bathroom,
okay.
Solo bathroom, like long.
Okay, that's better than I.
That's better than a public
person.
No, screw that still. And then he's like yelling in the bathroom, and I like bang on the door, and there's no response. But he keeps yelling, and then I hear him. He's like sexy, he's saying like sexy, I'm so sexy. And it's weird. He's like making weird noise. I can't make, and a lot of it's like Punjabi, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? So he keeps going like that. I'm like, I'm just gonna leave him. So I go back and talk to my shift. I'm like, yeah, he's still in there making weird noises. I'll go back in a couple minutes just to see what's going on. And then I'm like, all right. So 5-10 more minutes come by. I go to the door. I'm banging on it. I'm like, hey man. And at this point, we're like 20 minutes away from close. I'm like, I need to get this guy the fuck out of here because like we need to close. And he goes, yo, what's up? And I'm like, hey dude, do I have to call somebody? I can call health services or something for you if you want. But we're gonna be closing soon. He's like, 2 minutes. Just give me 2 minutes. 2 minutes. And I'm like, okay. And he hasn't opened the door, so it's still like locked. And we don't actually have a key to unlock the door. Like, you can get a screwdriver and, like, do the auto lock, but also at the same time, like, I don't really want to go in there.
They'd be like, oh, so sexy.
Yeah, I'm so sexy. There's more to that. So, we go, I'm like, all right. So I leave, and I'm like, I'll give you 2 minutes. I give him 10 minutes. I was like, just in case. Mm-hmm. So, I go back, and I'm, like, banging on the door. I'm like, do you need to get, I'm being nice, man. I'm, like, banging. And he's like, yeah. And he opens it a bit. So I, like, grab it. I open it up. And I look in the bathroom. And it is fucking spotless. Like, he's cleaned our whole bathroom. Like, there's paper towel, like, you know what, like, he's literally taking the paper towels and the sink and cleaned the whole bathroom. And he is soaking wet.
Was he cleaning it with himself?
I don't know. I imagine that he was so hot that he was just in the bathroom splashing himself with water and then was like, I'm making a mess. Yeah. I'm going to clean this up. So there's like, I saw a paper towel in the corner that was like, he clearly had used to like wipe down stuff. And it was so clean. And I was like, what the? I was expecting like a horror show.
The opposite.
Yeah, or I was expecting it to be flooded because the sink was on for like 40 minutes. So I'm like, what the fuck? So he's like, yo, I'm like, dude, you gotta go, man. We're closing. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. And I was like whispering to him. I was like, dude, are you high? Like, are you high? And he's like, no, I'm not high. And I was like, dude, what drugs do you do? Because I was just trying to like low key, like be a nice guy, but also hear what the fuck this guy's on. Because like, I don't ever want to do that. Yeah. Only Scalps, I gotta pay. No, per gram. So he. So he's like, yo, I only smoke weed and like I'll drink alcohol. I'm like, all good, dude, but you have to leave. And he's got his like keys dangling around his neck, and he's looking for his keys. I'm like, yo, they're on your neck. And he's like, oh, like, I was like, wait, are you gonna drive? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, yo, dude, I can't let you drive, like, cause he's fucking like out of his mind. Like, I don't know what's going on. And he's
so
like,
do you have the same responsibilities as a bartender in this?
No, I don't. I don't have any power
because it's almost like you're doing the same thing.
But I was just serving him morally. I am serving him drinks. I did serve him some water. I was just more like, I can't let you drive, man. You can't drive, right? And he's like, no, dude, I do it all the time. And I was like, oh, great, yeah. So he's like leaving the bathroom, but right before he goes, he's like putting more water. He's like, one second. He's getting good water. Fucking pulls down his pants. He's got Batman like boxer briefs on, and he's like, sorry. And then he's like splashing water on him, and I'm like, holy fuck. And I'm like,
gotta with this dude.
I'm like, and he literally said, gotta go see my girlfriend. I was like, don't do that to yourself, man. You're fucking cracked. Like, so he's splashing water. He gets his stuff back on. I'm like, I give him the water, and he like does like a walk to the cafe, and the cafe is like silent, and everyone's just like, ooh, like they're watching, like, and he's leaving the store. I'm like, dude, do you want to go sit in the patio with me for a bit? Because I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I just want this guy driving. And he's like, yeah, I'll go with you to the patio. So we leave the front door, and then he doesn't go to the patio. He just starts walking into the parking lot, and I was like, yo, man, where are you going? He's like, oh, I'm just gonna go drive. And I was like, all right, you're gonna drive? And he's like, yeah. I was like, I'm gonna call the cops, man. And he's like, no, it's all good. I'm like, all right. So I like get on the headset. I was like, BVF,
Whatever it was, yeah.
So like his 3 or 4 numbers at the end, and then their coworker wrote it down, and then we had to call the police. And like, yeah, because he's an asshole. It was very eventful.
Sounds pretty nice, but just
he was so nice to me.
Yeah.
He was like not aggressive. That's why I was like, I'm not calling the cops when he's in the bathroom. I just feel bad for the guy because he's like clearly tripping
he's
the
nice,
fuck
but
out.
he is criminally negligent.
It was also he was also
good
parked right in front of the brew house. I'm like, why didn't the brew house fucking not let him drive? Because clearly he might have been also drinking.
He might have been there,
Yeah.
Yeah, the #1 rated restaurant in Edmonton for TripAdvisor.
Really?
Oh,
Do you know why? I actually know why.
Because
They cheat their own Yelp thing?
No, they don't even cheat their own Yelp thing. They come in and are like, hey, every server when you're there is like, hey, can you give me a review for this? We have a competition between servers to win like it's between brew houses to win trips to like Vegas. And they do. Ours across the street from us wins like trips to Vegas for their waitresses. And like to the NHL All-Star game, all the guys got to go from that place because they win all these Yelp reviews. But it also ruins their customer service. Because like every time they came to the table, not asking for a refill, they're like, "Hey, so did you sign up for that Google account to review my store on?" Yeah. I'm like, "Bitch, you ain't getting a tip." Like this is fucking lore. Like she was literally not. It was a UFC fight. She was not giving us refills. She just kept on asking me if I made a Yelp profile, and I was like, "What?"
Wait, so did they give you like a promotional like here's one wing?
No, there's no promotion.
They're just like,
hey, could you do me a big favor?
I'm not doing
I'm like,
that.
fuck no. I'm not.
You need to incentivize it. Like I went to Wendy's and they have the thing where it's like, hey, you do our little survey, you get like $3 off a burger or a meal or whatever. I'm like, okay, cool, fair enough. I do that. And it's like I do that every time I go to Wendy's now because I just continually just get cheaper.
73, they always send you a thing that's like, how
you
good
actually
is
do
pizza?
this?
Yeah, because it's good. You just get free stuff. It's not great, but it's enough.
It's
But
like
the
a free
questions are
wedgie.
always just like you have to rate it, like how highly satisfied, satisfied, neutral, dissatisfied, highly dissatisfied. And I'm always just like, it was fine. Like neutral, I don't care. It was fine. Service was good. Whatever. They're like, so why weren't you highly satisfied?
Yeah.
And it's like, because it's a fucking pizza.
It's a Pizza
Don't give a
73.
shit
Good.
about this.
I don't go to Pizza 73 to be highly
I was
satisfied.
extremely excited about this pizza. I just went, thanks.
I always find that I feel uncomfortable to some degree whenever a person like tells me about some sort of survey that they're encouraging me to fill in because I feel like, dude, if I don't give you perfect scores, I feel like there's some sort of pressure from your employer to get good review scores because there's a lot of businesses that do that. Like there's a lot of like retailers where they have you rate basically your experience with a certain employee, and then it's like if they give you like less than a 9 or a 10 on the review, then you get like reprimanded. You get written up about it.
This happened when I was in like grade 8 going to Qatar, where they have like foreign workers come in and work for like contract for like no pay. We were at like a pizza place and we ordered all this food. We're like, we're not going to be able to finish this, so we had like a ton of takeaway. But the manager was so like, yo, these white people don't want to eat our food. Like, what the fuck's going on? Mm-hmm. And we were like, what? So she literally brought out like a debit-looking machine that was like had a test on it, and we had to do it. Like, they were like, you need to do this score because we want to know what's going on. And we're like, yeah. So we gave them perfect on everything, and it was great service. Like, our guy was like this Italian, like it was really cool. And we were like, if we had given them not the best score, I could imagine that being reprimanded just because we ordered too much damn food.
You ate food from an Italian.
I don't know why businesses don't understand that when customers feel pressured to do things to save the employees, it ends up giving them a negative experience. Like that's what I feel like going to EB Games all the time because they used to like push their like strategy guides, pre-orders, your protection, your extended protection
to
on the
guarantee
games.
their job because they had to sell a minimum
because they have a quota they have to.
Yeah.
Dude, I really hope I haven't bought like a video game in a really long time, but I really hope strategy guides are not a thing that they have to push because they get the fucking stupidest thing in the world.
No,
the internet exists.
Yeah,
dude, game packs.
There are very few games where they could have any reasonable or worthwhile market for an actual strategy guide. Like a couple like Dark Souls, I think has one.
Dark Souls, maybe. Those ones also, because they also have like sort of the art books that are usually attached with it. So if you like the concept of it,
okay. So if it maybe has like some collector value,
but it's like as far as just being like the straight up strategy guide, you will usually find better stuff on the internet. Like
I think the only ones I'd be able to do it for are open world like engaging games. Like I think Breath of the Wild, like I would have.
But you would just be able to get it on the internet
better
because you can. There's only so much you can do with a still image of what you're supposed to do. Whereas if you go on YouTube, there's like a full.
So are you saying there might be like a bit of novelty value maybe to having?
Well, I'm saying it's kind of cool like having it beside you when you play. So like you're playing a game and then you're like, oh, let's go through that.
That is
map.
true.
Like,
because like I remember you had a strategy guide for like Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
And that's an example.
I-
of
But
what
that's
the
fine
Zelda.
because that's in the mid '90s when.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That was
And even then, it's still
pre-internet being
technically more
useful, I
convenient
remember
than some online things because
Some of the videos-
usually it's like
yeah.
you are right there, and if you're trying to find a video, you're usually clicking through like
It's like
where
11.
the
It's,
fuck is
yeah,
it?
it's like an 11-minute video.
Just
The
hear,
first
like,
2 minutes are like
Or
6
the
minutes.
full strategy guide could just be uploaded on the
Yes,
internet.
that's the
as
thing.
well.
Like it's still
Like,
not
there's a
that's
million
not
other
enough of a
options.
reason.
Yeah.
Plus, there's no games out nowadays that you would even like
Not
Dark Souls
very
is the
many.
closest thing to a
Yeah.
difficult game you might want.
Spiral.
Oh yeah, some
Spiral
hard shit.
Dragon.
Dude, I don't think they've released a new Spyro game in like
A long
It's
time.
not
like
really
a
much
decade.
change.
Why would you need a new one?
It's like a platform.
It's already the top tier, top of the line, top
Second
dollar.
best game ever created.
What's the
Like,
first?
Madhouse.
Probably the next two.
Where does Pro BMX 1 rank in the tier list?
Never played it. I have no idea. Honestly, I'm not even convinced there is one. I started with Pro BMX 2.
You know, 2 is I think where the pro sports games really peak. Like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, pretty good. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, way better.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah,
you
Tony
know,
Hawk
well,
Underground
Tony Hawk's
2.
Underground is still the best.
Tony Hawk's
and then
Underground
Underground 2 didn't get better, but it was still
I
very
think it
good.
did get better.
More people played Underground.
I like the
Yeah.
story for
Oh,
Underground.
fucking
Jack
Underground.
Sparrow! No, but I know what you said. Eric Sparrow.
Jack
yeah.
Sparrow's the pirate.
I know. I knew it was Sparrow.
Did I ever tell you the story involving Jack Sparrow? Okay, this is a weird story that I got from a police officer. They had to arrest a guy who they'd been tracking for a while because he was a repeat sex offender.
I want a story now.
You do? Okay.
I feel like you've told me a story involving Jack Sparrow and police officers.
Yeah, okay, you'll recognize it
Okay.
soon. Anyway, this guy was known for, I think it was mainly for going to bars and then picking up waitresses or bartenders and then sexually assaulting them. And, I don't know, it usually involves some sort of, drugging and stuff. Really, really horrible crimes. And so this guy, they're tracking him for a while, and then they're going, okay, we've now got enough evidence that we think we can get him. So they do, and they get him, and they go to his apartment, and he has these tapes. I'm pretty sure they're VHS tapes, which is whoa, weird. But anyway, whatever it was, there was videos, and there's tons of them.
Okay.
And what all the videos are is he made his own sex tapes
Now,
with
that's all
tons
coming
of
back to me
evidence
now.
of him assaulting these girls. So they're like, wow, okay,
But he's dressed. Yeah.
this case is open and shut.
Sorry.
But then, of course, the police are now required to watch the evidence. So one guy I know had to be in on the evidence of this fat 32-ish old
32,
Korean man,
32-ish.
32-ish, yeah, 20, 32-ish man, sexually assaulting these women. And what he would do, he'd be dressed up in weird suits and like a pirate and stuff, and he'd be going out and she'd be like, "I'm Captain Jack Sparrow."
Yeah. It's interesting because
I mean, the context.
not
kind of
everyone was
dampers
there
the
when
The
you
humor.
context
said
was
that.
horrible, but that's
or
like,
whatever.
as
We
a
were
cop,
around
you're
the
watching
house
that
and
being
they
like, this
did
is
the
disgusting,
yeah.
but oh my god, that's funny.
Oh, maybe that was.
Yeah,
Oh.
over us being outside.
It's hard to keep track of where the stories were told.
Yeah,
It's like,
I think I remember telling you guys it
realistically,
wasn't on this.
even if it was on the podcast, all of us weren't necessarily here for it. Like one or two of us would have been missing.
Yeah,
There's so many stories that people missed out on.
that's pretty
Except me.
Kingdom Come.
Have you been in every podcast?
Next, they're always at my house.
Well, yeah, but I'm like, yeah, we've had
I haven't been in everyone. I've missed at least two.
we did the camping podcast
We
in your
have had
house.
them at other
We done a car
places.
cast.
Carcast,
Have you
we
been
are
to all of
there.
them?
I
I
think
felt like you missed one.
no, I think you've been at all of them.
Yeah.
Luke and I are probably closest for the next
Attendance,
most,
yeah,
and then
pretty far.
probably Robin.
And then,
Yeah,
And
I'm
then-
probably above Nick.
and then
Yeah.
Connor, Matt, they're sure
And
they
then
were good
Connor,
before,
Maddie,
but they've
and
fallen way off.
Gloria.
Yeah.
Far behind.
Yeah,
Or at least it feels
Maddie
like
would be
it.
better than
I
Connor.
actually missed
And then
before,
Connor.
but
It's been a while.
The recent ones.
And then Adam next, and then the few who have had one.
Yeah.
I guess.
Who were our guest
Super
spots?
guest stars.
I can't remember our guest spots.
We've had Jordan in before.
Yeah, I've been on one.
I think Tyler
Oh
was
yeah,
on
Jordan was in one.
Did,
The
was
house
Tyler
one.
in one?
I don't know if you.
There was the unreleased one that had a ton of people in it.
Unreleased
That
one?
yeah, there's a garbage unreleased one that was going to be podcast 4 or whatever. Don't you remember that? We didn't even have video yet.
Oh.
It was
It's
garbage.
pre-video before
Oh.
video
Was
was.
this
Then
on
it
the
wasn't
Sunday
before
night?
scalping. Or sorry, it was before
Might have
powdered wigs. Powdered wigs. I had the jokes mixed up, man.
The jokes are coming too fast.
Yeah, there's comedy.
Scalping was
Right,
before
man.
the powdered wigs. It was the result.
Scalping was invented at the same time as powder wigs.
Right.
They
They
powdered
couldn't get them
scalps.
off.
Yeah. Did I tell you guys, this just happened recently. I can't remember if I told it on the last one, but the way I really weirded out, I just had a really weird situation with a coworker where I just totally put my foot in my mouth.
Yeah, well, on the last one where you
Was I saying it
with
on the
identity
podcast?
theft?
No,
Oh.
so that was another one. Anyway, okay. So
So is it the same person?
No, different person.
Okay.
Now this coworker, he's not around very often, so I don't know him very well, but he's very weird.
And so one day I'm about to start my shift, so I'm in the change room, and I'm just about to change to go on. And I see these shoes, and they're so small. I think I told you this after a podcast. Yeah.
I think you did tell it on the
I think it was after. I don't think it was on. Well, you know what?
I didn't hear it. I'd love to hear it
Yeah,
again.
me too.
I see these shoes, and they're like kids' shoes. They're so small, and I'm just like, there's no way. Like, how small? They're so small. They're really, really small. They're like, I look at them like maybe a size 6.
Like a potato-sized shoe.
Yeah, something like that. Like, they're very small. And so I'm looking at the shoes, and I'm kind of laughing a bit, and this guy comes into the change room, and, like, he's kind of short. He's, like, I don't know, 5'7", maybe. Like, it's not insanely short. And then I'm just like, hey, man, and, like, I got a smile on my face. He's like, hey, what's going on? I kind of look, and I'm like, do you know whose shoes those are? Just, like, clearly mocking them. He's like, they're my shoes. And I kind of stop, and I'm like, I don't know what to say. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, why? I'm like, they're cute. All I can come up with is cute. And he's like, my shoes are cute. And I'm like, yeah, they're cute shoes.
Oh, man.
And then he's like, thanks. I just kind of went... I left the office laughing really loud, or the change room laughing really loud. To find all my other coworkers and be like, hey, you know that really weird guy? I just called his shoes cute. So I should have just said they're cool. And every time I tell that story to somebody, they're like, you should have just said cool. I'm like, I know. But all I thought, because they're so small, and that's why they were cute.
So, Nick, I have an important question for you.
Yeah.
Imagine if someone
not a
either
question.
one stole your identity, or if when you were a kid they touched you. Which would you rather have happen to you?
Which is worse, identity theft
which
or
is-
molesting a child?
Identity theft.
Why is that?
Hey, wait, which is worse?
Which is worse?
Oh no, I said touching. I mean touching a child. Touching a child is worse.
Yeah.
You said which would you rather have happen to you?
Oh, yeah, I set it up really-
Yeah.
So you want to be touched?
No, I actually want both.
Wait,
what was-
hey, if you're interested in the question differently, though, it's what would you rather happen to you?
That's what he asked
now,
me. Yeah.
that might be different. See, some people might rather have been just touched as a kid rather than
I've already had credit cards.
because there's a lot of trouble you have to go through when your
It's like,
identity's stolen.
technically, on a scale, yes, touching a kid is worse. But if I imagine to me, right now, identity theft and losing everything or something,
No,
I'd be
no,
like, that fucking sucks!
But-
Fucking put a finger up my
Be
butt!
touched now, yeah. I'd rather be touched now than identity stolen.
Yeah,
Well,
but
touch now, but no.
But as a kid,
When I was a kid, I'd rather have my identity stolen than be touched.
Right, exactly. Because you've got no assets when you're a kid. You've got the ass, but no assets when you're a kid.
Fuck. It takes
Nice.
the older you get, the more it goes, woo!
So where's the age where they're equal being touched?
Oh god.
It could be like 18,
17.
like somewhere
Why
around
are you
there.
guys
Because
both doing this?
you don't necessarily have much to lose then. Like, they can't...
Your soul, not your soul.
Yeah,
you're,
but like,
you're
I don't know,
innocent.
when I'm 18, they'd have to touch
That's
me
not
pretty
true.
hard.
I don't. When you say, when
I was
you
really
okay, listen. Time out. Time out. We're gonna cut this. Okay, time out. You said okay. Let me just. The question you asked me was, would you rather be identity thefted or child molested?
Yeah.
I would definitely be identity thefted.
Yes.
Yes, because you're saying child molestation is worse. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, well, that's obviously true. The whole
Yeah.
story, because I had a weird coworker who defended child molesters. Like, I don't know, identity theft's pretty bad. And I'm like,
It's like, it's
yeah,
not defending
identity
child
theft's
molesters.
bad, but
Oh.
molesting a child is so much worse. He's like, yeah, touching a child's bad, but identity theft, like, you can't say that. But anyway, yeah. What is the perfect age?
You're probably 17 or 18. Depends on
17?
changes for
You
some
mean,
people.
you mean when it
'cause, like,
swaps?
When it's exactly equal.
'Cause
Because, like, as a child, being molested
You mean
is
from
so
your
much worse.
from your effects that happened to
But
you?
yeah.
Yeah, if it was to be you, because if you're a child, being molested is so much worse than having your identity stolen.
It have to
obviously.
be like 16.
But at this age,
Yeah,
I could probably be molested
Yeah,
and
but then
be
it's called
emotionally.
rape.
Yeah,
Well, that depends.
It's still
'cause
pretty
it's
bad.
still
touch
horrible.
isn't-
But I'm like, I'm probably emotionally mature enough that if I was warned and they're like, "You're about to be molested,"
I'm not going up to be like, your identity's about to be thefted. And I'm also not going up there being like,
Yeah.
you about to be molested. Are you ready?
the whole concept
Are you
is-
mentally prepared?
Because if you're prepared to be identity thefted, then you cancel your credit card.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think the whole concept of this is that like we're getting to choose which one, and so if it's like right this second, I either have to be molested or stolen identity.
Not right this second.
And I don't-
You
and
mean
I can't
you
do
mean
anything.
age at that rate.
I mean,
that
like
second.
if it was me right now,
Yeah,
I would
that's
choose
You'd rather be
molested.
molested.
But I
At
think
my current age.
yeah, but I
yes,
think anytime for
obviously.
18, identity theft would never happen.
18 identity theft.
Yeah, how would you like not even an adult age?
Yeah.
What identity would they have to steal?
Well, you might have a job.
They go
You might not
attend
even have
your classes
your
and
bank
email
account
your
would have
classes
like
for
your
you.
bank account would have like
It'd be pretty pointless to steal an 18-year-old.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
why it's like a good age because that's where it starts to converge, right? Because you have
I
less
don't
to
think
lose.
there's
less
any
to lose.
conversion. I think that
think so?
well, at the age
but
you're getting
you'd have to
molested, sorry,
agree
that's
that-
the weirdest. That's the weirdest sentence I've ever said.
I feel like we
I was
just
about to
decided
say
that.
a
Why does
weird
this seem
sentence.
so dumb?
Say it.
I was never mind.
Can you just say it? What was the sentence that you were about to say? But you're not saying it. You're just saying what you were going to
Yeah.
say.
What I was gonna say
You're
is
not
like,
saying it.
okay, at what? Let me word this correctly. How did I start my sentence? I said, at the age that you were gonna be molested, how much would you have in your bank account?
So what we're saying is, how much money would you pay to not be molested?
This is what we're really asking.
That's the question.
You're trading
Right now,
money
the government's
for being
molesting
molested.
everyone. How much do you have to pay per month? To
Add one age, because right now I could easily be like, I will give you $5,000 to not be molested. But when I was like 4, I can't do that. So, you know.
But like being molested at a younger age should cost more money because it's more. It's more likely. Because it's more likely to have a last. Later age.
My 2 cents, they're both bad, and it never gets to a point where there's diminishing
Two
return.
cents is not enough to not be molested.
Unless you're 35.
If you're like 75, you can only pay 2 cents to be molested. That's
See, this guy. It is like 55, but we go for a little.
oh my god. I don't think we can end on that now.
I think we ended the video 15 minutes ago.
And on a low note.
Oh, that was funny.
I thought when you mentioned the Harley Quinns, deciding how many ounces of liquor you drink, I feel like that's a good game to have. It's something we should keep in mind anytime we're going out somewhere. Perhaps on a flight, perhaps in a new city.
We tried to play that on Halloween, and then there were like 3, and I was like, "That's weird." So
They're all at the clubs.
Wait, what were you
at the
looking
clubs?
for?
Harley Quinns, yeah,
Is that why Harley Quinns? Is that actually a thing?
yeah, it's been a thing.
It's very
Oh.
popular.
It's been very
At
popular
conventions,
since-
it's like Harley Quinn and Deadpool are the
Yeah.
2 that you're gonna see.
There was actually a Harley Quinn. I think I told you there's a Harley Quinn who was like full on the felt costume, or it was like the full on old school costume, and then when she like turned around, she had like a Deadpool mask on. So she was actually fucking both.
Whoa.
Couldn't decide.
Couldn't decide, or she was like, I'm Deadpool now.
Ugh.
I think it's just an ironic.
It's ironic pun.
Oh,
Yeah.
like it's
recognition-
ironic fun.
recognition of the
Okay.
horrible trend.
I don't know. I think she literally just wanted to make a combination
Very hard to
of
say.
2 popular.
That is
things.
tough to say.
I don't know if you can really do a like convention costume for being like meta commentary.
Yeah, you can. There's like dudes who dress up in like skimpy women's
Or a
cosplay
Sailor
outfits who are just like
Moon.
big and fat and gross, who are
Well, there
just
was-
like doing it as a joke.
One of my favorites was
That's
the
just,
guy.
like,
Was the
bad.
guy like he was decked out in
It's
full.
not good, but it's still
He was decked out in a full samurai outfit, but he had colored it as Hello Kitty. And I was like, that guy's actually really cool. It's like it's still a legitimate costume. It took effort, but he like then sort of took himself down a notch by making his like having
I'd
decals
say
of
up a
Hello
notch.
Kitty on it. So
Up
it's
a
like
notch.
So he doesn't take like the sanctity of costume
no,
and pop
like
culture
it
so
wasn't
seriously.
serious. Like it was very lighthearted. I thought that was a really cool costume.
The coolest costume I saw at the convention, I saw Forrest Gump like when he was in running through America.
Oh, he had like the beard,
and then there
and
was
the hat, the bubble
yeah,
gum
like
hat.
and like he just like he had the whole like worn down shoes and all that kind of stuff. It was a cool. I kept seeing him.
When Nick told me this, I was just like, you just bumped into like a mentally handicapped.
Wait, he was wearing a red hat.
Yeah.
For some reason, like, was it actually like a "Make America Great Again" hat? Because
No.
I imagine like Forrest Gump having a red hat. Now when I think of red hats, I'm just
Donald
thinking
Trump.
"Make America Great Again" hat.
Use the-
Make America Great hat.
Make America hat.
Was there any like? Because I was looking at
You
the
should bring
guest
yours.
list.
You should bring your
I
hat.
do
Your
have
hat.
it. It's at home.
There wasn't really like anyone that excited at the expo to meet.
It's not mine. It's not mine. I didn't buy it. I bought it from my dad, who loves it.
But did you meet anyone cool at the expo?
Yeah. Oh, dude. Weird enough, we ran into the same guy 4 times. Like he stayed at a hotel. First, it was like 2 a.m. We were
Well,
drinking.
is this just a random dude?
Random dude. Saw him at the hotel, and he was like just walking around, like pacing around the hotel. We're like, okay. And I was sitting waiting for people to come out of the elevator. I was like, yo, man, what's up? And he's like, I just left my phone in a cab, and the cab drove away. And I was like, oh shit. Literally 4 times throughout the trip, we kept running into this guy because he ran a
He
Star.
kept leaving his
No,
phone in cabs.
no. He ran a Star Trek autograph booth at like where they sell autograph pictures of these Star Trek, like huge, like Leonard Nimoy, like all that kind of stuff. and I guess he's from California. So they send them out to these events to sell stuff. We ran into him like 4 times just at the convention. We ran into him at his booth. Ran him at the hotel, and it was a whole progressive adventure of like if he got his phone back or not. And he kept giving us updates, and then by the last time he got his phone back,
Oh, good.
and we were like,
Wow.
wow.
That'd be great if the end of the story was you found his phone.
Yeah.
And then that was the final meeting together.
Yeah,
And then
the
you
cab
kiss.
driver.
I was the cab driver. Beep, beep, beep.
Should have called the cab for him.
Should've been-
Might have been the
The
same
cab's
cab. Would come
here.
right back.
Nice if it was
No.
John Cusack you kept running into.
No, it'd be
That would
pretty
be
cool.
nice.
Because John Cusack was at the
He was cool. Gross Point Blank was a question that they asked, but he was roasting a lot of people. Wait, what did I tell you in the car about John Cusack?
That
Oh,
he
his
was kind of
performance in
kind of a
2012. In
dick.
2012.
Yeah, people mentioned something
Yeah.
about 2012 and he said it was like the best shoot he ever did because like there was
Yeah.
no direction.
No.
Like just Roland Emmerich being like, there are explosions.
Be
Now you are
fearful.
upset and you are running.
Running away.
Okay, go.
It was like the ground is cracking.
Now
You
the
know,
buildings, they fall
They fall.
over and you run from the building. You're very scared, go. And that's what his motivation is in the movie if you've seen
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's a really
It's
bad
literally
movie.
dead on.
Yeah.
It's not like he needs to be directed by like what's the Werner Herzog. I think he did a
Werner
Werner
Herzog.
Herzog movie. It sounds the same because it's a German accent. There's only one German accent, I think, as far as I know.
2012
It's the only one I
is
can
brilliant.
do.
Just capitalizing on a thing that'll like
Yeah,
be exciting
Yeah.
once.
That
and
one
you
year,
think
yeah.
just making garbage movies.
That's
that'll still
absolutely
make
what it
money.
was.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
watched the 2016 Ghostbusters this morning.
Oh,
Yeah.
I heard it wasn't as bad as everyone was expecting it to be.
Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of love put into the movie. It wasn't just we're just gonna make a franchise and cash in on it. So you could tell they liked Ghostbusters and they wanted to make a good Ghostbusters movie. The problem is that they let the jokes go on really, really long. So
That's the shtick with who's the
The-
director.
yeah, I can't remember his
Paul
name.
Fig.
Paul,
Fig.
is that it? Yeah,
Fig.
I think it's it.
But the thing is that they just shoot stuff constantly, and then the actors improvise it over and
Yeah.
over and over and over and over again, and then they just often use
Yeah, and
a lot of them.
you could definitely tell there would be points where it's just someone just call cut. The joke died, but now you're just watching the corpse of it. That's
Applebee's.
Applebee's, yeah.
Wasn't a corpse.
But it's there's nothing wrong
Applebee's.
with it. It's a totally inoffensive.
It's
just
harmless enough,
it's just a dumb Hollywood comedy where it's just
Like,
some
actually-
jokes will land, some won't. It doesn't
Yeah.
really matter. But people got pissed as fuck because they could attach their anti-damn feminists.
Which
the
was-
Megan Trainor
fucking
song
shit.
of movies.
Yeah,
All the cameos I really liked though, because they basically had everyone from the original Ghostbusters except for Rick Moranis.
Oh yeah,
So,
they had to manipulate Bill Murray to be in the movie, threaten him with legal action
Doesn't
to
he
be in the
suck?
movie.
Isn't he just an awful old man?
Well, why wouldn't he be at this point? I think he's earned it. He's an old guy who can just fuck off and be by himself.
Fair enough, but isn't he just a miserable, horrible
I
Too
believe
many
that.
upset old people. I don't think.
yeah, it's every other
earns
old
being
person in Hollywood is pretty
grumpy.
awful. But I think Murray is
You know.
not as bad as other people.
I
I
hope
think
not.
he's just more eccentric than other people. Because before he was it was really hard to get him to be in stuff because I don't think he actually had an agent.
No, he said he used his voice.
So so you had to phone him, and then he would just maybe phone you back, or maybe not, and you just had to bump into him to get him
And
to
then
be in
he'd
stuff.
take one of your fries
Fries,
and
exactly,
say,
yeah.
"No, I'll never believe you."
Bill Murray will always have a special place in my heart because of Lost in Translation. No matter how.
You'll have a special place in my heart for Garfield, The Tale of Two Kitties.
Yes.
One is mine for cats and dogs.
Dogs cuddling us.
That's the one. In that movie? I don't remember.
No, do you don't remember it very well?
No, a thing you should watch, I can't remember if I told you about it or not, is Five Came Back, the documentary miniseries
Oh,
on
the
Netflix.
documentary about directors
Yeah.
who were in the war.
Yeah, it's
and they
super,
made
super
war
cool.
movies.
It's really, really good. It's well worth
Came
watching.
back the very next.
Very next after the war.
No, it wasn't gone.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, they usually talk.
No.
See you guys.
See you, boys.
This is Podcast 94.